The qualifying race saw several incidents, and pretty much everybody on the grid ran off the course every lap. After the race, a few drivers complained that the tires that Rubber Dub Dub brought to the track were of poor quality, and that caused their cars to handle unpredictably. However, ARLA and Rubber Dub Dub officials said that because the Lake Afton track is so narrow, that it is expected that a few drivers would run off the track at some point, and they basically told the drivers to just suck it up. The main race was, well, I'll let Scott explain it for you. As Earl just mentioned, race 19 of the ARLA Elite Series would take place at the narrow motorcycle course in Lake Afton, Kansas. The Smash Beer Pull Award would go to DJ Daniels, his second pull in the last 3 races. The first third of this race was indescribable, so here it is. Once again, all of this stuff happened in the first third of the race. We will now rejoin the race on lap 18. DJ Daniels would be out front and pulling away from the field. This kind of performance from Daniels at a road course is not too surprising. After all, he dominated the European exhibition race at Denmark last year. Even after the disastrous first 18 laps of the race, drivers are still not done wrecking, as you saw Laura Cyrus sweep across Olivier Martinez's front bumper after drifting off the track. Brenda Riggs would be spun off the course by Bobby Bordeaux in a similar fashion to how she was turned off the track by Scott Hamilton earlier in the race. Speaking of Scott Hamilton, here he is about to take second from Chris Johans. There you see Hinata Hyuga still in fourth and not far behind the leaders after being spun out by Michael White. But back to Hamilton. Whenever he does qualify for a race, one of two things usually happens. He either runs very well or he gets wrecked. This is Chuck Johans making his second start of the season in the part-time M&J 68. He qualified for Quincy earlier in the season and ran pretty well until he got wrecked. Today, he would once again show that he's still got what it takes to compete with these guys, who's running 7th at this point. Taylor Brillin, who spun out Leigh Grell earlier in the race, is about to be taken out by Leigh Grell. She gets spun into the tire barriers very close to a few spectators. This wasn't the first scare they've had. Mike Andrews crashed into those tire barriers earlier in the race. Ryan Baldwell sweeps across Harry Enola's nose and takes both cars off the track. Enola is about to show his displeasure with Baldwell. He gets into the 10 once again and turns him around. However, the 09 gets back onto the track right in front of Ronald Porter, taking both cars into the tire barrier. Jason Bates hits the 45, knocking him into the 09 and turning him over. This is the onboard shot from Jason Bates. Nowhere to go. He takes car number 51 out of the race. Back up front, Scott Hamilton is going to slide off the track, letting Chris Johans take second back. However, he is able to hold off Hinata Hyuga. However, Chris Johans is going to fail to capitalize on this. He brakes really late going into turn 1 and spins himself off the course and out of contention for the win. Jared Anderson is about to lose a couple of friends. The 9 is going to knock Tristan Roberts off the course, and when he tries to get back on, he doesn't let him in, and the 29 spins out. Chuck Johans is going to try to get by the 9 for the 5th position. However, the 9 just pushes him into the tire barriers and takes car number 68 out of the race. Anderson would be called to the hauler. As the leaders come by to lap Ryan Baldwell, Baldwell slides into Scott Hamilton and takes him out of second. However, the field has really spread out over the course of the race, so Hamilton is not going to lose many positions. This would leave Hinata Hyuga and DJ Daniels to duke it out for the lead in the closing laps of the race. However, DJ overdrives turn 1 and lets the 39 by. This seemed to have rattled Daniels, as the next lap he spins his car off of turn 1. And on the next lap he would find himself battling Lance Andrews for second, but Andrews drifts over into the 90, spinning Daniels out. This would be the last incident of the day. Bobby Bordeaux gives Jared Anderson a taste of his own medicine and spins him into the tire barriers. Bordeaux would also take Justin Parker into the tire barriers on the other side of the racetrack. In the meantime, Hinata Hyuga would come back from being spun out and take her first ever ARLA Elite Series victory on a road course by 8.5 seconds over Lance Andrews.